Hello and welcome to my video on making Halo 6 great. Quickly, just want to say that this isn't a video in relation to my Halo trilogy about Halo 7, but it does link in with those videos, so if you want to go check them out, they should be linked at the end of the video or in the description. And so let's get into this. My first point is side games. Now you might have heard from a few other YouTubers, but I think it's worth mentioning, especially seeing as I'm doing a third video, fourth video on this subject, and I think there will be side games to improve the story of both Halo 6, Halo 7, all the Halo games to come. Side games in the past have been used to extend and expand upon stories. Spartan Assault, which I think is the one you probably see as gameplay in the background of this video, as well as Halo Reach and ODST, as well as a load of little mini games, books, outside content has always been used to develop Halo's story outside of this more simpler game line story. So I believe there'll be a few cool new side games. First of all, I would love to see one featuring the Arbiter and Swords of St. Helios. Now, while I don't have any particular proof for this, the popularity of playable elites, the Arbiter, and the elites, sort of backstory and lore, it kind of leans towards 343 would be making a good decision if they went for a game or commissioned a game about the Arbiter and the Swords of St. Helios against the new Covenant factions. It could actually be quite a fun idea. It could be based before Halo 5, that way it wouldn't infringe on what happened in that, so we could have, what's his name, Julamamba or whatever, the guy who dies in the first level of Halo 5. And that way we could have him more developed as well, more than he was in the Spartan Off games. Next thing is the better story. And I say better story. I'm not precisely dissing Halo 5's story, because I still think there are some merits to its story, even if it is suffering and lacking. I believe the new story needs to actually, if anything, be more simple and involve less of the outside content and more of the inside content. I'm not the only one who say this, but if you're a gamer and you don't read the books or listen to the podcasts or the movies or the little cartoons / anime, then you don't know who Blue Team are, you don't know who Team Osiris are, you don't know all this stuff. I didn't know it before Halo 5 came out, and sort of ended up researching it because of it. Now that in a way means 343's brilliant business strategy worked on me, but on the majority of people it just made the story disconnecting and annoying. So I believe they just need to have a more simple story, but not too simple like the original trilogy. A good enclosed story that you don't need any outside information for, and I think that's a very important factor in this. So coming off that point is a new, bigger alien threat. We have Cortana, we have the Prometheans, we have the Foreigners, we have the Covenant factions, but we need something that's really Halo, something brand new. The Prometheans feel too much like just a replacement for the Covenant. We need something that feels like its own thing and yet still has that Halo vibe. A huge new threat that could cause the Covenants on all alien species to all come together. It could cause Cortana and her Guardians and the AI to all come together, and the humans as one group to take on this new huge gigantic threat. And my idea for this is other universes and galaxies. We know that the Foreigners and the humans and all the Covenant species are all from the same galaxy which the Precursors created as their last creation. But we know there are other galaxies created by the Precursors. What if these had their own mantles, their own superior species that didn't turn on the Precursors, seeing as the Precursors were still alive, to come to our galaxy? I just said Precursors a lot of times. This new threat would be maybe even greater than the Foreigners were, because it had more time to develop before the Flood came on it. Maybe it could be another galaxy that the Flood found and started, inhabiting. Another group, another species running from the Flood into a whole new galaxy that far advanced to try and escape it, and that's how the Flood will come back into the Halo storyline, and that will bring everything together, and everyone's gonna be in immediate danger. All the fighting with the AIs and the Covenant and all this will stop, and suddenly it'll be some big combined effort to take down this new alien threat, which I think would bring all the fans together. It would bring the old fans who love the space opera kind of thing from the first few games. It would bring the Flood back. It would bring in the new people though too, because we wouldn't be getting rid of Team Osiris or the AIs or any of this. We'd just be combining them for a short time. And yes, it would be similar to what happened with the elites sort of teaming up with humanity to take down the Flood, but it would be done in a different way. It would be newer. I mean, maybe it's not the best idea, but I do think a new alien threat is necessary. So, something to sort of, change it up a bit. The Otherwise, you're gonna have to have the Prometheans develop more. They tried to sort of do this with the Warden Eternal as their leader kind of thing, but he just wasn't the best baddie, because even if he could have been a good baddie, he got really boring with all the amount you had to battle him. So it's either make the Prometheans feel truly threatening and Cortana truly threatening, or a new alien species. The next thing is multiple campaign modes, as in extra options. Namely, there would be 2 campaign modes. There would be one with abilities, armor abilities, sprint and whatnot, and another following the classic Halo system. Now, you may be thinking to yourself, this wouldn't work. The sandbox of the weapons wouldn't work. The way the maps are designed wouldn't work. But this is 343, who are the predecessors of Bungie. And if they really want to bring the entire Halo community together, they need to give us more options. I can reach how there was, I think, classic playlists where you didn't have to use the armor abilities and stuff. They need to give us an actual different options for the campaign. Sure, some of the maps might be a bit big if you had to walk them all, but that would be up to you. You could play with the abilities. Maybe on the mode without the abilities, you'd have to use, I don't know, they'd implement man cannons and things. And yeah, that would be extra work for them, and they'd have to balance it and stuff, but it's a game, you're paying for it, and I think that's simple enough and viable enough. As for extra options, why not? The extra options for kids, extra options for the real loyal fans. Turn off swearing, add swearing. I mean, it's only a couple extra words here and there, because we don't want a T-rated game. We want the Halo we all know and love. So if that means it's got a few swears and 343 lose a few sales, they'll probably gain it in the loyal Halo fans who come back, and that's more important. Now, I know I said it needs a simpler story, but I do believe Team Osiris and Blue Team need more development. And what I mean by this is not just talking while they're running around, or Cortana going through their minds and saying things about their past. This is a good start, but it's not enough. I think they need something like where, say, Team Osiris gets stranded somewhere. They're stuck down a ravine with no way out, and Locke has a complete mental breakdown. He starts attacking his own teammates and his own team members, and when they finally get him to calm down and explain, he tells them about the events of Nightfall, where people betrayed him and where everyone ended up dying, and how he just isn't very comfortable with being stranded with people anymore, and he has trust issues and things. And then, you know, Buck could explain like the events of New Blood, where Buck actually got betrayed, which is kind of the idea of New Blood. I won't spoil how he gets betrayed because it's a good book, I enjoyed New Blood. But Buck gets betrayed in it by one of the other ODSTs. And that would give us not only a connection between Locke and Buck, which would be genuine character and personality and backstory and lore, but it would also be development for us, the player, and it would bring in those outside mediums which we as the player know nothing about. 343 can't go back on those things. They can improve on them with side games and encouraging people to read the books and stuff, but they can also do something like that where they just involve a small bit of it. Sure, it spoils a small part of a book or a film or whatever, but it would be worth it for the gamers who aren't going to read or watch those things anyway. The next thing for making the Reclaim the Saga stroke Halo 6 great is not having Halo 6 be the end. Now obviously there will always be more Halo games for hopefully many years to come, but it cannot be the end of this story. It cannot be the Halo 3 of this story. There needs to be a Halo 7. Now I'm going to be honest, I could have explained this a little better in my video of Halo 7. I was a bit vague. I realise that now a bit more than I did then. But I did explain it in that video, kind of, so watch that one. But in general, Halo 6 needs to be breathing room for the story to maybe be a little shorter, although Halo 5 is short enough as it is. But to just develop the characters, as I said before, and just expand on everything like Halo 2 did for Halo Combat Evolved. That's essentially my only thing there. I explained it more in my Halo 7 video, so you can click on that. But we just need that extra room to expand the story, and that will make Halo 6 all the better. My final point is that characters are going to die. This is Halo, and for whatever reason, 343 almost seems hesitant to kill characters all of a sudden. They started in Halo 4 by killing off Cortana. Now that was huge. But then they brought her back, and in Halo 5 not a single person dies. Now in the original Halo 2 no one died, but in Halo Combat Evolved pretty much everyone died. Captain Keyes, supposedly Johnson, although he survived, etc, etc. But by the time of Halo 3, Johnson, Miranda Keyes, all the people we grew to know and love as characters die, and that's sad. but it's what makes Halo so memorable. In Reach, almost everyone flipping dies. So in Halo 6, it's almost granted that someone is going to die. And even if it isn't the end of the Halo games, and there is a Halo 7, I can almost bet you money that Sarah Palmer will probably die. Dr. Halsey could die as Team Osiris members, even Blue Team members, even if I do doubt that. But more than anything, by the end of this saga, I believe that Chief will be dead. And I explained this a lot more in my The Master Chief Will Die in Halo 6/7 video, which is also linked in the description. But just in short, it would be very impactful. It would be very memorable, and it would make sense, especially if Cortana dies with him. Now, a way this could happen that I didn't mention in that other video was if Chief dies in Halo 6 around the end of it, and you play Halo 7 as Team Osiris, but by this point, because of Halo 6 not being the end of the saga, Team Osiris has had time to be developed, and we actually care about them. And in Halo 7, we play as Buck and Locke and whatnot, and maybe even Arbiter or Fred or Linda, and we care about them now because Halo 6 allows us to care about them if it's done the way I've been saying. As for multiplayer in Halo 6, I don't really have too many comments. I mean, remove the rec system already. Like, there's a lot of people doing videos on how to improve Halo 6's multiplayer, namely the Ackman does very good videos on that, and many other great YouTubers. Speaking of which, DandyDNA has been commenting on all my Halo videos, which is a really nice thing to do, especially considering he's a much bigger YouTuber than I am, and he has no reason to do so other than my pointless commenting on his video, on his channel. So thanks a lot for commenting, man, and helping me improve my own videos. So that's kind of my thoughts on how to make Halo 6 great. Essentially, we need side games, we need a simpler but yet better story with more development. We need some sort of new threat or the current threats to feel threatening, like the old Halo games did. The Flood felt threatening. We need extra campaign modes and options. Like, we need 2 campaign modes. One for the kids who want all these armor abilities, which I'll admit sometimes I find fun, but not always. And one for the veterans who just want to play with the normal stuff. We need Team Osiris and Team Blue Team to get developed and to be explained. We need the side stories brought into the games because we can't take them out anymore. Blue Team and Team Osiris are here to stay, so we might as well bring them in properly. We need a Halo 7 so that Halo 6 is breeding room. And finally, we need dramatic deaths. Now, sometimes dramatic deaths can feel predictable, especially in something like Halo Reach, where we know sooner or later most of the team is going to die. Like, the chances of Carter and Emil not dying after you see George and Kat die is just, it's predictable they're going to die. But we need those deaths. They're iconic to Halo. They're a part of it. So yeah, those are my reasons. I hope you enjoyed the video. It wasn't fully scripted because I wanted to make it more streamlined. So this is kind of more of a rant than anything, seeing as it's not part of my main trilogy, which is scripted. But as I said, it's a bit of an experimental video. Hopefully the content on screen will be a bit more of a match for the audio, and hopefully I didn't stutter too much or check my script too much that it annoyed you any bit, and that the music in the background suited you. I'd love comments on my performance in the comment section below. If you could, it would be great so I can keep developing and making these videos more fun. If you could subscribe or like, or even follow my Twitter if you want to keep updated, that would be greatly appreciated, and I'll see you next time. Bye!